On today's episode of LTV Lab, we are diving into the customer journey of the supplement brand Arrae. Safia, who is the operations manager at Dispatch, ordered from Arrae a little over 30 days ago. We're going to dive into everything that happened with Saf's initial order and look at everything Arrae has done over the last 30 days to win Saf back to place another order, boost their LTV, and win a repeat purchaser. Saf, what happened when you ordered from Arrae?
I went to their website to look around and see what they have. I tried to learn about what they offer. Their website's pretty easy to learn. They had just launched this new product, hence why it's everywhere. They don't have that many items, and I appreciate the fact that they had categories for different goals. It was easy to shop based on what you were looking for. So I went into best sellers. Okay, this is different than a month ago. Now when you click on these, it shows their products right here rather than taking you to a shop page, which I don't really like. Looking at shop all, you can see all their products. This is the product I ordered. They have their value props in front of you, which I think is really helpful. Then they also have a option for subscribe and save and one-time purchase. Subscribe and save is the default, which I think is a good idea. And then they have a frequently bought with so that they can upsell you really easily. If you keep going, it has even more product information, which I find helpful when shopping for supplements. You want to know what it does up front rather than having to research all the individual ingredients inside. I saw this product can reduce cravings for sugar. I have a big sweet tooth, so I thought this would be a good option. I'd be able to tell over the course of a month if I were still craving sugary snacks. That's why I navigated to this product over their other ones. Then once I had gone through their site, I had signed up for the welcome series. Their first email is pretty standard. I think it's a generally good email, aside from the code being really teeny tiny and not in the first module. That's just me being nitpicky. But I do think it does make a difference. Then I placed my order. I got an order confirmation email from the transactional portion as well as from their post-purchase. I also noticed in that first email, their footer is like a novel long, which I think is a little bit excessive. There are ways to simplify it. The next day, I received shipping notification and a couple of shop transactional emails. I do find getting 3 emails on one day and then 3 emails the day after was kind of a lot. It took a little bit of time to get my order, but I was already 2 days after I placed my order getting a cross-sell email, which seems way too early. And again, it wasn't for a product that I got. When I saw this, my first instinct was to be confused because I didn't order the bloat product. So that caused confusion immediately. And then I realized it was a cross-sell, but I hadn't even gotten the chance to try the original product. So this felt way too soon. From there, I got a mix of their campaigns and what I'm assuming is post-purchase cross-sell. But again, it still went through products that I didn't order. Then about 5 days after I placed my order, my product was out for delivery, which I think is a really good shipping timeline, all the while I'm still getting their campaigns. Then the product was delivered on the 20th. The unboxing was very straightforward. It was a plain mailer box that came in. When I opened it, it just had the product inside. Their packaging is actually quite cute for the actual product, the box that the glass bottle comes in. It was packaged well that nothing broke, but nothing to write home about. So now I have it in my hands. When they go into their Memorial Day promo, at no point did I get an email of here's when to take it or what you should expect in the first 7 days or recommendations on habit building. There was no nurture part of the post-purchase I had received yet, which I thought was a red flag. So from the 23rd, I was still getting Memorial Day sale emails, which makes sense for a big sale. Then from there, it was really just their Memorial Day sale that they pushed really, really hard. I didn't get anything more from their post-purchase aside from one more cross-sell. They did forget a preview text. They had a placeholder there and an email that got sent. Not ideal. Then they started priming their audience for a new launch, which I thought was absolutely genius. They started talking about why hydration is important because a couple days later, they launched what they called their Clear Protein, which focuses on both hydration and getting your protein. But that was really interesting to prime their audience a few days before that launched. But basically, it had talked about how it was, I think, an Italian summer email. And it was something along the lines of, if you can't have a 6'5" Italian man to carry your suitcases, you might as well be up enough to carry it yourself, which I thought was really cute. The rest of it was a lot of the same campaigns, a lot of newsletter things. Nothing nurtured the purchase I made. It was getting into their regular cadence of emails. Even if you don't have a 6'5" Italian man to carry your suitcase, at least you're going to have the supplements to carry your wellness routine. Amazing 10 out of 10 copy. They know their audience really well. From June 5th to June 11th, I got a teaser almost every day for this new launch. I think 5 teasers is excessive every time I thought it was the launch, and it wasn't, which was annoying. After the 30 days, that was the cutoff. They had that pattern interruption plain text email, which was interesting. Their headline was really cute, that their new product broke the internet, that it did so well that servers went down, which I thought was really funny. The last thing I thought was, or last 2 things I thought was interesting, was they did a sale on their TikTok shop. The CTA was to drive directly to shop on TikTok, which I thought was really cool. In more than 30 days after I placed my order, I still have not gotten any replen emails, no pushes to subscription. They're asking me to rate this product. If it helped even just a little, would you be open to sharing a 5-star review? I don't love that. If something didn't help or didn't meet my expectations, why rate it 5 stars? But those were all of the emails I got.
I find it interesting. They sent most cross-sell emails before you got your first product, very soon after your first order. You're primed to potentially want to spend more if the product they're cross-selling is going to help enhance the impact and the effects of the initial product. You said you thought they were educating you on the product you ordered, then realized it was a cross-sell. Were any of those products they promoted to you like specifically related to the product that you did order and like contribute to enhancing the effects of it?
So I think the product I ordered is supposed to help you lose weight, but I bought it to curb sugar cravings. You could make the argument that this product would help with that, reducing inflammation or bloating could help with that goal. But at no point did it say why it's related. I get that that's a little bit hard to put in. So maybe for some of them, but definitely not for all of them. Heartburn doesn't apply, in my opinion, in the slightest. Or sleep. You could make the argument that it applies, but I personally didn't find it relevant.
Right. And they weren't going out of their way to tell you how it was relevant. What was kind of their way for them to explain to you why better sleep will enhance the impact of the product you did order?
It's possible, but for me, it was too early. I would have liked for them to send this after I had already been taking this product for a week or 2.
You can't do everything, and they're making the conscious choice here to do that cross-selling instead of educate you and prepare you to get the most out of the product you did order.
Right.
And that is my next question. Was the product you ordered worthy of that much education? Did you feel like you weren't sure how to use it, what to consume with it, how to maximize the impact of it, like what your expectations should be? Like, was that all super clear without them having to spell it out? Or would you have gotten more benefit from them explaining it?
I think I would have gotten more benefit from them explaining it. A lot of that information I had to find myself, or I had to read the bottle and then read the bottle again after a couple of days because I would forget. There's some important things on there. For example, when taking the supplement I ordered, it says very clearly not to take it when you're taking any other products with green tea in it. That's pretty important to know because a lot of people drink green tea pretty regularly. Another thing, it said to take it either in the mornings or right before a workout. I would have loved for them to have a check-in email, like after the first 2 weeks, here are the things you might have been feeling. I feel like there was a lot of things that they could have said to help me understand why this product is valuable and to get the most out of it.
Yeah, and if you feel that way, it's likely other customers feel that way. When you are selling a functional supplement where someone is expecting results, the biggest thing you can do to get someone to place another order is help them get the result they're looking for. If you're saying a lot of people drink green tea as an example or do XYZ, that would stop them from getting this exact result. And you're not going out of your way to like specifically hold my hand and tell me like, here's what you should do and not do to get this result. Then I do think for sure that's a big miss for any supplement brand. When I've ordered from supplement brands in the past, I think it's the same reason I don't want to start a subscription right away. I want to see if it works. We've talked about this already through several
Yep.
episodes of LTV Lab. You're not ready to commit to more than you've already committed to until you've felt the benefits the first time.
Just to add on to what you were saying about LTV, if they actually provided a proper post-purchase journey and showed you the expectations and held your hand throughout the entire thing, you're more likely to get on a subscription with them, which will increase LTV in the long run. They haven't done that, and they haven't even, from what I've seen, promoted the subscription program at all.
I agree with both points. The miss of even speaking to subscription is a pretty big one, because that's a very easy way to increase LTV if you can get someone on to the subscription program. And these cross-sell emails don't do any justice. I don't feel like they sell the product they're trying to cross-sell very well. If they had something like a proper journey that explained why you need this product, how you can maximize what you can expect, and then you can throw in those cross-sales to be like, hey, if you pair our sleep product with it, you can expect XYZ benefit, or you can boost this benefit by also including this product. I think that's like way better way of really spelling out the benefits with what you've purchased versus just here's a product and go learn about it.
Yeah, you can also be like, this is what happens when you take it for 60 or 90 days and use that to push the subscription program.
Yeah, sure.
Those are both good points. And something I'm curious about now is because they offer subscription, this is a product meant to be consumed regularly. Did you have any expectation when you placed your first order around when you might see the benefits?
I didn't want to be naive and think I was going to feel different in the first day or 2 or 3. So I was thinking around the 2-week-ish mark, assuming I took it consistently, I would feel something. But they had no messaging around consistency. They had no messaging around like, hey, did you take your supplements today, to kind of get you into that habit? So I wasn't totally consistent with it.
Was that 2-week assumption your assumption, or was that on their side?
Just vibes.
Nowhere did they say in this. Okay.
I would imagine, especially to someone new to supplements, that they don't feel anything. They might assume it's not working.
To keep a consistent habit with supplements, if you don't feel something right away, especially if it's something that you're like, oh, let me try this out. So if there isn't that communication of you might need to wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever that timing is before you see anything, you have to be consistent. People will be more reluctant to, like you said, build that habit. Or if there are sometimes there's small benefits that you may not realize in the first week, and calling those out to be like, hey, maybe you didn't realize, but this is happening in week 1 if you've been consistent. And just having that like regular touch point of, even in the first week, what the expectations would be.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of showing that roadmap of what you can expect in 7 days, 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. I was just looking at their website and I see on this product page, this is just such a common occurrence from e-com brands. Build out amazing websites that have all the information that someone could have, but it's just like hidden. And it's hidden behind this assumption that like someone is going to like click open all of these different tabs. When you go into how does MB1 work and then how to use, which is already pretty deep down, you can see it says take 2 MB1 capsules each day, stay hydrated, and pair with a high protein meal and regular exercise for best results. So there's a lot you have to be doing to get the best results. I'm curious if this line is on the bottle or the packaging. This is obviously very important.
It says take 2 in the morning or pre-workout. It doesn't say to add a high protein meal. This natural brand supercharges your metabolism to increase energy and curb cravings. It didn't tell me any of that.
Right, which I think is the prime use of email and SMS when you have really important information that people aren't seeing on your site. People don't read every single word. This is a miss in not using that time between your and receiving the product to make you fully aware of what you should be doing to maximize the effects so that you want to continue using the product or try other products because you believe in the brand's ability to deliver on their promises. In 2025, there are 1,000 supplement brands that you could buy from, hydration, gut health brands. And I think the ability to earn trust from a consumer when you're trying to build a brand, scale into different categories and launch different products is so important. That's not the goal they're trying to achieve here. If you ask someone from Arrae, I would bet they would say, of course, we want people to get benefits from it and achieve the results they're looking for. I believe that, but this is a perfect case of saying something and doing something else where they're just trying to cross-sell you right away. On the cross-sell point, something I found really interesting is like on the product that you ordered, Saf, on the product page, they have this bundle here that they've actually branded well with 3 products: Tone, the Clear Protein Plus, and the NB1. They already have this bundle that's going to help you achieve this result you're probably looking for. And they didn't do anything to put that in front of you in email and SMS. Like they already have the infrastructure to cross-sell you effectively, saying that you can use MB1 or Lean and Define Plus, which we already have the infrastructure for, and then cross-sell you on Clear Protein Plus or the Tone, checking in on your progress with the product, making sure you're getting the benefits from it, and then using that as the opportunity to maybe cross-sell you like on this full bundle.
Yeah,
Cool.
the only thing I can say in their defense is that the Clear Protein just launched. I do think they had a bundle before it, so everything you said is still valid. They still had other Lean and Define type products. So the fact that they were sending me heartburn and sleep products first in the cross-sell feels like a huge miss, especially because they don't have that many SKUs. If they had hundreds of products, I could understand how that would be tough, but they don't.
Speaking to the habit building approach, is there anything top of mind on what they have done to help build that habit over the first 4 weeks?
For me, it's can you do in your daily routine to make sure that you actually are taking it, setting reminders or putting it in your gym bag, little things that could be easily integrated in customers' lives, I think would be really helpful in habit formation.
I also think having a couple check-ins, especially in those first 30 days, like a reminder of habit building. So not just one habit building email, but kind of like a weekly check-in of week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, reinforcing those benefits that you're going to get with consistency to really hammer home why it's important as well. But yeah, I also agree with building out a routine for a customer in a way that is attainable.
Something interesting I've done for supplement brands is having a course for the first 30 days that they opt in. If they're opting in for that, then it becomes something they know they're expecting and will get. That goes through every single day, kind of checking in, giving them information, tips, guidance, support. So you're also top of mind at the whole time, also getting all the information that you want to repurchase as well afterwards.
Sure. I think those are both great ideas, a course or a community aspect where everyone's trying to achieve something similar. Something that stood out to me on their website, their product page, where they're saying like take 2 of these a day, but also stay hydrated and pair with a high protein meal and regular exercise for best results. There are a lot of people who are consuming this and not changing their diet and lifestyle to help support this and get results from the product. So something as simple as like every 2 days or 3 days, like sending a recipe for a high protein meal, or like, I don't know if they sell water bottles, but even if they don't, you know how like everyone now has those massive Stanleys? It's like even just like, here's our guide on the easiest ways for you to consume enough water. Buy a massive Stanley in your favorite color and keep it on your desk and drink it. Or even like the easiest ways to get extra steps in during the day and get better results, all in the name of helping you get the results that you're going to tie to the product at the end of 30 days or 60 days. My question is, all of this sounds great on paper, but one of the great benefits of LTV Lab is we now have a customer who bought the product and went through this. My question for Saf, if they did any of what we described between Kayla, Kana, and myself, does any of that specifically speak to something that you would have liked to see and acted on?
I would have opted into Kana's idea of having reminders daily, at least for the first week or so until I had formed that habit. An email saying where to put the supplement jar so you don't forget to take it would have been helpful to build that initially. Having those check-ins again, here's what you might be feeling after X amount of time, and then another check-in later, would have really helped me tie how I'm feeling to the product rather than tie how I'm feeling into me consistently, going to the gym or like just trying other foods. There's a gap there. That would have been helpful.
So now 30 days later, how was your experience with the product? What benefits have you experienced? And what's your overall feeling about the product compared to what you were looking for?
In terms of overall experience, it wasn't negative, but I wouldn't say it was overtly positive either. I was consistent for the first 2 weeks, and then it slowly started to fall off because I didn't have those check-ins closer to the end of those 2 weeks. I was taking them right before my workouts. I did have more energy. I was having better workouts. When I hit cardio, I was able to go longer and harder than I usually can, which was interesting. But even then, it was kind of short-lived. Maybe if I had that habit, it would have continued to be helpful, but I didn't really have less sugar cravings.
Did you take it twice daily for 30 days?
It was 2 pills a day.
Okay.
I got frustrated around day 25 and gave up.
Okay. Interesting. It does also on the product page, it says below add to cart. We recommend at least 3 months of consistent use to see optimal results.
Yeah, that would have
So-
been nice to know so you don't get frustrated.
I don't know if there's any other products that are as attractive to you in terms of benefits from Arrae, but after 30 days, how likely would you be to try something else from Arrae based off of the belief that they as a brand deliver on a promise of solving the product you have?
I'm not enthusiastic about it. It's not a cheap product. I probably wouldn't be that enticed, especially because I know going into it that I'm going to have to look for all of the information myself or do all the habit forming myself. It's more work than I'm willing to commit to.
Okay. What would it have taken for you to want to start a subscription within these first 30 days, around, let's say, like day 20 to 30, when you were running out of product? What could the brand have done to get you committed? I'm curious to know if it's purely just like, would it purely have been you starting to see the benefits working? Or if they're telling you it's taking 3 months anyways, them guiding you to the point where you feel confident that you're on your way there? Would it have taken any discount messaging? I'm just curious to know, what would it have taken to convert you into a subscription?
If they had fostered a new lifestyle for me, I'm more likely to subscribe. Setting correct expectations, reminding me that it takes time to feel benefits like it does for anything in life. So they had continued to create almost like I don't want to say a new personality around it, but a new personality around clean girl aesthetic or eating healthy and ingrained it into my life. I would see myself subscribing.
I think what you touched on is super interesting. 2 things. Number one, you saying that anything else in life isn't going to happen overnight and it's going to take time and work. From a marketing perspective, we tend to make people feel like they're going to get something today to get to that version of you that you want to be the reality, like as soon as possible. And I think like today's climate where like there are 1,000 brands that are selling supplements and benefits, it would be refreshing if a brand said, hey, it's day 15 and you're not feeling anything yet. When was the last time you heard of someone starting a diet or going to the gym and being completely transformed in 15 days? That's not how this is supposed to work.
Yeah.
So if you're not feeling anything yet, that's fine. This is supposed to work. I think that from a copywriting perspective and a brand voice perspective would be really refreshing. And I'm curious, I don't know of any brands that talk like that. I'm sure there are.
I see a lot of supplement brands promising instant results. When I see that, I don't trust the brand. Nothing works that way. It would be like a really powerful like marketing strategy to actually just be like, hey, this is going to take that time and this is what it's going to look like, but you're going to get X, Y, and Z. And really being really transparent of those like benefits. I would trust a brand faster with that kind of copy and information.
Pairing that with testimonials of real people who went through those changes at those specific times. So you're not just shooting in thin air, but taking it back to a tangible benefit that other people have felt at that certain time.
For sure. So that's all super interesting. And I think the other thing was them trying to craft this new personality for you,
Well,
which sounds kind of far-fetched. They're not really going to be able to do that, maybe. But it's also like a interesting idea in the same vein around what a lot of people want.
yeah.
Like, they don't just want to lose weight. They want to be the type of person working out every day and eating high protein meals. And
Yes.
like that is where so much fulfillment around doing those hard things comes from. It's not just the end result. I want to be that type of person. That's where the idea of community becomes super interesting. Because if you have a lot of people who are striving for becoming that type of person, and you put them in a community where they can share recipes and what's working, just like, hey, I went to do CrossFit last week and it's such a great workout, sharing that with people who are also looking for the next great workout for themselves. The idea of community seems super interesting. And I think like it's really hard to do right in a community like that.
They could facilitate community building For example, people on TikTok who ask, did you eat today? They could have something so simple as, hey, if you want to join our community, turn on your post notifications. And then once a day, do a cute post. Did you take your supplements today? Here's the meal I'm eating when I take my supplements. You can have influencer content. You can have UGC. So many ways to add to that.
As you were talking about community, the one word that was popping up in my head was accountability. Having something that's like keeping you accountable for one, taking the supplements, but also doing the other things that like come along with it. When you're in your bubble of, I'm just going to take these pills and go to the gym today, maybe I'll, you know what I mean? There's not that accountability of like doing all of the other things. We're like finding some form of community, like what Saf was saying, having a post of, did you eat today? You should go eat. Keeping you accountable to maximize benefits and stay consistent would be important.
Question for Kayla and Kana, strategist at Dispatch. If you were working with Arrae, clearly the way they are structuring their post-purchase flows and customer journey is not speaking directly to a real customer like Saf to get her to adapt to using the product and drive that second purchase. If we take a step back and look at why they're doing this, the goal of sending these immediate cross-sells is to drive more revenue. So if you as a strategist were working with Arrae, I'm just curious to know how you would present business revenue and LTV case to test what we talked about instead of their current strategy to prove there actually is greater LTV on the other side. What would you specifically look for and communicate in terms of metrics that you would want to track for the next 30, 60, 90 days to see if everything we're talking about is actually worthwhile?
I think you're going to need time for a test like that. I would say at least 60 to 90 days to be able to have the difference. Even if you did a test of this flow versus habit building, you could look at revenue of next purchase or time of next purchase. Are they buying their next purchase sooner? Are they even buying a next purchase, and what that AOV looks like? Because they're a subscription brand, I would be looking at the subscription metrics. That's where the true LTV is going to be coming from. So I would also want to look at how many people do we convert to subscription, and then look at that life cycle. What we've seen with other brands is if we got them into subscription, they're more likely to stay and continue versus if someone joined a subscription through cross-sell email, they're likely just got my 20% off and then cancel right away. You can also look at how long they're staying a subscription customer as well.
Whatever Kayla said is exactly how I would think. It doesn't look like they've broken up the flow into first time versus repeat customers. They're giving everyone the same post-purchase journey, regardless of their products, whether they're a repeat or a first-time customer, breaking that up to really understand the difference between revenue from repeat customers versus subscription customers versus first-time customers. And then that metric between first time to second time to see the conversion metrics is really important. And then also looking at the click rates. If we are doing all of this habit formation of giving them all of these resources, we also need to look at how they're actually engaging with our content, or we're just sending them and they're not opening it or not engaging. Important to track and measure. Content customers resonating with or engaging with or converting with, and then adding more of that information and follow-ups on that is really important in the post-purchase journey.
I agree with all of that. At the end of the day, over the course of the next 3 months, 6 months, the main things we'd want to be looking at are higher repeat purchase rates in general from first time to second time purchaser, higher conversion rate from one time purchaser to subscription customer. And then I do think there's a large cohort of subscription customers who like start a subscription on that first purchase and then churn like very soon after because they just want the initial discount. So looking out for that churn rate as well to see that come down is probably one of the highest impact things on Arrae's side. Doesn't matter which subscription app they're using, like they're going to have a good view of what that LTV looks like for a given cohort to a one-time purchase.
An interesting test is having the first discount on bundle versus a subscription order to see whether the LTV is actually higher if they have a bundle versus a subscription, because if they have a high cancel rate, it would make sense to push them to a bundle to increase their ARV and LTV that way. So just kind of, we need to look at the data.
And I think one of the interesting metrics that might not swing the way they would expect is right now they're pushing cross-sells really quickly. That tells me the main KPI they're looking to hit is how many different products can we sell to that same customer as quickly as possible. But the metric that would be really interesting to see is like, what does that like one SKU purchaser to multi-SKU purchaser look like at the end of 3 months or 6 months if they're actually seeing the benefits from the first product?
Yeah, I wonder if they change their cross-sell strategy. Their online store is broken up by benefits like fitness essentials, gut health, sleep, and bundles. Each of those three categories, fitness, gut, sleep, they all have their own trio products within that, testing, cross-selling other things that are in the same category that someone was coming for that is more related, kind of upfront, I think would be probably more likely to drive repeat purchasers as well, instead of cross-selling a completely different category. If someone's buying something for fitness, do they really need for sleep? Maybe, but maybe not.
Let's go through the dispatch retention rubric and see how Arrae fared. How did you find your shopping experience on Arrae's website?
There was a lot of information on their website. It wasn't hard to find product that I appreciated, but it is a little bit overwhelming, especially if you're not 100% sure what product is right for you. If they had a quiz to ask, hey, what are your concerns? And then they could recommend something, that probably would have bumped up their rating a little bit. But based on it, I would say it was like a 6.
How long did it take to get your order? Any emails you received in the meantime? What are you rating them on?
My order shipped for 5 days. I think that's solid. There were more delivery notifications than I needed, so I would take away points. I would say an 8.
Now, in the unboxing, everyone watching saw the video of your unboxing at this point. What do you think of it?
The outer box was super plain. The actual box the product came in was pretty cute, but there was no information in the packaging, even a note card on things I needed to know about the product that wasn't on the box. That would have been so helpful and would have made up for some of the issues they're having with their post-purchase. I think the 5. They did their
that's
job, but
definitely fair.
nothing more.
Okay, in the 30 days after you received your package, how are you rating that experience?
Their emails are cute, but left a lot to be desired. So that's like a 4.
Like
That
a
might
4,
be
okay.
generous.
I think the fact they didn't talk to subscription, didn't educate you at
No.
all, get you into a
And
habit at all.
there was no replan because it's been more than 30 days. Not once did they say, hey, you didn't subscribe. Do you want to order even if it's just another one-time purchase? There was nothing. So,
Product satisfaction rating, frustrated day 20 to 25. It was
Yeah.
a 30-day supply, 0.
like a 4. I didn't know what to expect in the first 20 days. Maybe it did something, but not enough for me to tell anybody about.
Got it. I feel with these products, it's either a hell yes or a hell no.
Yeah.
Someone will find out. But I feel like someone's not reordering unless it's like a hell yes. It had an impact. How do you rate their retention marketing?
Pretty bad. I would say 3. They did nothing to retain me aside from trying to upsell me. And I don't count that as retention marketing. So
Before we answer the grand question, like what you just said really encapsulates where a lot of brands misunderstand email and SMS marketing. Just looking at their emails in that Figma file, they have beautiful emails that look great and their copywriting is really good. So as a function of copy and design, anyone who judges email marketing on those two rankings equates to great emails. From Arrae,
yes.
your email and SMS marketing goals have to ladder up into your business goals. And if we're going to find out in a second, but like if great copy and great design is not what's going to get a customer to come back and buy from you, there needs to be strategy in place. What you're saying in your emails in terms of the merchandising, the offers, the messaging matters 10 times more than how you're saying it in terms of the copy and design. That's the big takeaway for anyone watching this, because like their emails look great. And to most people, they would look at this and be like, they have great email marketing. Is it actually going to drive the business goal? Will you be buying from Arrae?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you want to expand on it, or everything we've said covers it?
I feel like everything we said really covers it. They have beautiful emails. Their copywriting's cute, but there's no substance. I don't feel like I came out ahead. I don't feel like I learned anything. I don't feel like I grew in any capacity. So overall, it just didn't feel genuine. So I would probably look elsewhere if I wanted a similar benefit.
Do you think people who went through the exact experience you did post-purchase buy from Arrae again? Same product, same emails, why go back and buy again?
They're willing to give it a proper 3 months before making a decision. They had a lot of TikTok links on their website, so maybe people are following influencers, taking the product, staying accountable, and getting community benefits we spoke about. For anyone who had the same journey as me of not doing all the extra stuff or coming in not from a community standpoint, I can't imagine a lot of people would come back.
All right, that wraps up this episode of LTV Lab. A lot of great takeaways. If you want your brand to be audited by this awesome crew of strategists at Dispatch, link is in the description right below to book a call, have us look into your Klaviyo account, and see where you might improve. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.